black queen. Failure ain't an option. You looking clean, clean, clean. Failure ain't.
Hey guys, it's Jess. Welcome back to my channel. So I have a very interesting video today. It gets a little deep. It's a little bit of a therapy session, a little bit of a advice kind of. I just really want to dig into when to know it's your time to get out of that relationship, when you know it's your time to leave. I really want to empower you guys and help you to see some of those red flags. And I just really am coming from a pure place and I want the best for all of you guys. And we're gonna get on into that. But before we do have a sponsor for today's video. It is this hair that I'm wearing, and we're gonna do a quick pause to show you guys all the specs of this hair, and then we're gonna get right on into the video. So special thanks to OMGHerHair for sending me this hair for today's video. So inside the box, they give me a few headband choices. There's this nice camel colored one that I was wearing in the beginning of the video. I have a nice teal colored one. There's a sparkly sparkle one. And then they also send some hair tools, a head stocking, a comb, and of course some extra straps in case you need to adjust it. So this is the bag that the hair comes in, and this is the headband wig they sent me. It's 18 inches in length. It's 150% density. It's a natural color. The cap size is medium, and it is 100% human hair. They also have two combs in the back. No, two combs in the front and one in the back, and adjustable straps. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do up the front of my hair so that it can blend as much with the headband wig as possible. So at least like the front of my edges are like nice and slick and smooth. So it kind of looks like I got a fresh perm in the front. So then I'm gonna put on the wig cap that they sent me and just hold down the twists that are in the back. And again, here is the wig. It is nice and straight. I am gonna cut it as you see in the beginning of the video, and I'm gonna style it with some like wand curls, but I just wanted to show you guys the starting point. And the 18 inches was cute, but I was just feeling for something short and jazzy, so I was like, this is the original length and this is how it looks, and then we are going to style it throughout the rest of this video. Alright, so I'm just gonna go ahead and style this wig while I'm talking to you guys. You know, I kind of wanted this to be a voiceover because I really wanted to focus on what I was saying and not doing two things at once. But I also really wanted you guys to see my face and see my expressions and be a little more raw with it. Even though I did write some notes, and these notes are insane. I'm gonna show you guys right now because I was passionate about this. Oh my goodness, it's so much. Probably, yeah, look, like I wrote all these notes on things to say because, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. So I will say I'm definitely thinking about cutting this wig a little bit shorter because I don't know, I'm just feeling like I'm in a short hair mood today. So today's video, I really wanted to talk to you guys about how to know when to let go and how to see the red flags, or how to acknowledge the red flags, because a lot of times we do see them, but we just gloss right over them. We don't acknowledge them. We just make excuses for them and so on and so forth. And then we end up in a place that is depressed, it's lonely, we feel like we don't have any self-worth, feel self-conscious, and so on and so forth. And I really wanted to tackle this topic because so many of us women are going through it, and men too are going through it, and I just don't feel like it's something that is talked about enough. And I just wanted to dive into it really quick. I do want to preface this by saying I'm not a relationship expert, I'm not a therapist. I'm only 29 years old. It's not like I'm coming from 50 years of experience or from being married in a successful marriage or anything, but this is just coming from someone who has been there, who knows people who have been there and have gone on to the other side. So let's just get on in. But yeah, I'm also gonna be doing my hair because this just, it's giving, but it's not really, I feel like it could be giving more. So we're just going to go for it. So like I said, I am 29 and I have too been in a bunch of relationships in the past, and every single one of them I knew that I was not supposed to be in them at one point or another. Even with my current relationship now, this is our second go around, but the first time that we were together, there were signs that I knew that we should not be together right now, and I stayed. There was a time where, you know, I got cheated on and I stayed. There was a time where everything was going perfect and he was a great guy, but I wasn't happy and I stayed. Society put so much pressure on us, and in my family, everyone got married like 21, 22, 23, 24, like 25 the latest. And I mean, I'm 29 and I'm still not married, but before, when everyone was getting married and stuff, I don't know if I should be cutting my hair like this, but I'm gonna go for it. I was just settling. I was like, look, everyone's getting married, everyone's showing up to Christmas with their boo, and I'm single Sally yet again. I was the butt of all the jokes, the single jokes. Oh, that looks so good. Where is your man? And blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, if y'all want me to have a man so bad, think about how I feel. Of course I want one too. So I'm gonna just go ahead and take whatever is out here. So that's what I did. And it made me settle amazing amounts of settling. And you know, sometimes you gotta look at yourself and be like, look, I know who I am. And the guy that I'm with, he really doesn't deserve me. I'm way better than this. Not way better than him, even though you might be, but you just say, I'm way better than this situation that I'm in. And there were so many times that I knew that this was not it, but I wanted to save face. I wanted to have the Instagram pictures. I wanted to show up with a boyfriend to the group dates and all that stuff. So I settled for something that is less than what I deserved. So I asked you guys yesterday on my Instagram if there was ever a time when you were in a relationship that you knew you shouldn't have been, but you stayed anyways. What was the reason? So we're gonna go look at some of those reasons right now. So you guys can't really see, but I got so many responses of women who stayed in relationships that they shouldn't have been in, and they knew that they shouldn't have stayed. And I'm gonna read you guys some of these. There's so many. Are you kidding? You guys are not alone. Let's just read some of these. We have fear of being alone. I had low self-esteem and did not know my worth. I was scared to be alone. It wasn't toxic, but I wasn't happy. I had low self-esteem, a lot of low self-esteem and afraid of being alone. I stayed because finding a Christian man is like finding money. It's hard to find. A lot of people said they stayed for the sex. I believed his words and not his actions. I stayed for the potential. I stayed for our kids. I've seen this a lot too. I was afraid of hurting their feelings. I didn't want to leave because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. We had a lot of history. The sex was good. A lot more. We had children. I was afraid of ending up alone. Someone said he owed me money. Girl, if you don't get away from me. I didn't feel like I deserved more due to my baggage and my issues. Someone said my body count was rising and I figured it'd be wholesome to stay where I'm at. I lived with him and he was paying all the rent and the bills. I felt like I needed him. Someone said because I just knew with my first relationship I was gonna end up married, so she just wanted it to work. I thought God gave me the okay, LOL, but that was the devil. Someone said in my relationship, he gives me 15% love and 85% hate. And I'm just waiting for it to be 100% love, and I'm still waiting. Being comfortable and kind of happy versus dealing with change in the unknown. Everybody loved him and knew we were together, and I cared what people would say. I invested 5 years and gave my best to him. We were together for 7 years. I'm afraid of starting over because I thought I could change him. So I want to get back to me for a second and give you guys a real life example of how I was in the trenches. I mean, it wasn't like abusive or anything like that, but I was with someone just because I didn't want to be alone. And then I'm going to tell you the story of how it happened, and then we're going to dive deeper into the rest of the foolishness. So I met this guy like 4 weeks before I turned 27. So, you know, I'm like, I'm about to be 27. Everyone else is married. People are starting to have kids. And I'm like, I'm just single. I'm by myself. And I'm like, oh God, where's my man? What's going on? So this guy slid into my DMs and I was like, oh, hey, I knew him kind of in high school, but, and I always thought he was cute, but we never really went anywhere. This looks so much better short. Good job. But never really went anywhere because whatever, it just didn't. He slid into my DMs and we're like kind of flirting for a few days, whatever. Now finally, he tells me, by the way, I just got out of an engagement. I'm not looking for anything serious, but I really like your energy, I like your vibes, blah, blah, blah. So first of all, that was the first red flag. Like me, I'm about to be 27. Why am I entertaining a guy who doesn't want to get married or even to be in a relationship right now? Sign number one, girl, get out of there. So silly me, I start telling my friends about this guy and I'm like, you know, what do you guys think? He's so cute, he's in the church, blah, blah, blah. Like, what do you guys think I should do? And of course, like all my good friends are like, girl, do not entertain this man? Like, where is it gonna get you? Absolutely nowhere. But I went out with him anyway. So we go out and we have a good time. We had really good connection. Like, we were having a good time, okay? We were having a good time. We were. So I was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna keep hanging out with him. Maybe I can change his mind. Change his mind. And it seemed like we were getting in that direction because we were hanging out all the time. You know, I met his mom. I introduced him to my mom and my brothers and stuff. Like 6 months in, there's no title still. We're just hanging out. We're getting physical, all this stuff, and no title. I remember one time we were at lunch and I was gonna put my food on Instagram. He was like, whoa, whoa, what are you doing? And I'm like, dang, I can't put my food on Instagram? He's like, I just wanna make sure you didn't get my hand in there. And I was like, it was honestly that moment and so many more that I was like, what the heck am I doing? I'm too old for this. Why are we doing sneaky links when I'm trying to, you know, build a life, get married, have kids, yada, yada, yada. So then I was like, you know what? I'm leaving. I left. I like blocked him on everything and I was like, we're not supposed to be together. I don't want to do this. And then all of a sudden, when I leave, he starts trying harder. Like, he's showing up to my house. He's writing me letters in the mail and all this stuff because I blocked his phone number. I blocked him on like Instagram, blah, blah. He would leave comments under my YouTube video, blah, blah, blah. Like, it wasn't very stalkery. It was more so like sweet. I thought it was sweet at the time. I'm like, wow, he really does care. All of a sudden, we're talking about love, we're talking about marriage, we're looking at wedding venues, and I'm still not his girlfriend. We make no public announcements or anything, and I'm like, am I being tricked here? Am I being fooled? Mind you, we also have not a lot of things in common, and there are so many things that our life plan did not match up. He wanted to move out of the country and live not in a house. I'm not gonna say what it was. He didn't want to live in a house and he wanted to move out of the country. And I'm not talking about like, oh, to Paris or move to Jamaica. He wanted to move to like Istanbul, okay? Like a place that is, you know, somewhere I'm not trying to be. Yet I ignored all that stuff even though I knew that's not the type of life that I was called for, okay? Is this thing on? I was not called for that type of life. But I stayed. You know why? Because he gave me emotional satisfaction and, you know, some other stuff at the time. But I wasn't really happy and I knew that this was not going to get anywhere. Long story short, after I was like, okay, this is stupid. We're not getting anywhere. Like, yeah, I don't want to be alone and I'd rather, you know, be with someone who, you know, we can go on date nights and all that stuff, be on the phone, watch movies together, which we were doing all that stuff, but we weren't getting anywhere. I wasn't happy. And then we broke up, quote unquote broke up. 4 months later, he's engaged to be married to somebody completely new. I'm like, okay. So that is just, it goes to show that we wait around for like, oh, I know he can change and I'm hoping he'll get back to, you know, blah, blah, blah. And like, maybe if I change his mind, he'll ask me to marry him. No. A man knows what he wants and you're wasting your time trying to change his mind or trying to change him or wait around for him to do X, Y, Z, because if a man wants something, he's gonna go for it. And that relationship showed me exactly that. Because we did this song and dance for like 9 months, no title, no nothing. And then literally like 4 months later, he called me to let me know that he was engaged. And not to his previous engagement, to a brand new girl. So I was like, okay, that relationship was not for me. And I thank God because I'm not doing it. Anyways, I truly believe wholeheartedly that in every relationship, good or bad, but that we're not supposed to be in, there's always signs. We always see the signs. Our female intuition is, I don't want to say it's never wrong, but it's just always there. Something is always there. And there is a difference between red flags and like personality differences or something. Like if your man like, oh man, I hate his breath in the morning, like that's not a red flag. That's just a difference. But if you can tell that he's like a womanizer or he's disrespectful or he calls you out of your name or, you know, certain things and you see it happening, the signs are always there. You can't tell me that you don't see them. Even if he's pretending to be a good guy, you'll see inconsistencies in his pattern because nobody can pretend always. You're gonna see it within at least the first 2 weeks. You're gonna see it, you are. I know there's a saying like, oh, he was a wolf in sheep's clothing, but even if a wolf puts on a sheep costume, you can still see that it's not a sheep. Something's off. And we always know when something is off. We are just too afraid to say something, or we just don't want to be lonely, and all those excuses that we said before. And it's unacceptable because you're only putting yourself in a rut, and you're going to fall into depression because those signs are only going to reveal themselves more and more as the relationship goes on. As that guy realizes that you're falling more and more in love with him, he realizes that no matter what he does, you're gonna stay. So his true colors start to show, and all he has to do is say, baby, I'm sorry, I love you, and you're like, it's okay, I love you too. When you know, love is not painful, love is not prideful. What, don't let me, hold on, let me pull up the verse, because y'all about to make me preach up in here. Okay, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 8. This is what love is. If you're not experiencing these things in your relationship, then you need to get out. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It's not jealous. It does not boast. It's not boastful. It's not proud. It's not rude. It's not self-seeking. It's not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Okay? And us as women, we could definitely work on it. We're not holding grudges. Love does not delight in evil, but it rejoices in the truth. Love will always protect, always trusts. There is trust there. Always hopes. We're gonna dive into the hopes later. It always perseveres. Love never fails. Okay? So if your man is talking down on you, he's yelling at you, he's raising his voice at you, he's cheating on you, he's not calling you for days, he ignores you, he doesn't bring you around his friends or family, he bosses you around, he's not kind, he doesn't say kind words to you, he's not patient with you, he's short-tempered with you, he's telling you you'll never be good enough, no one's gonna want you, I'm the best you're ever gonna get. That's not love. That's not love. Sex only is not love. Staying with someone just because the sex is good, that doesn't mean that they love you. And you're not showing that you love yourself by just staying with someone just because the sex is good. Now, I will say, even though I don't condone this, but if that's the agreement that y'all had and that's the relationship that you guys have, like, hey, we're just here to have sex, and this does not apply to you, okay? We're talking about women who are in real relationships, but they know good and well they should not be in that relationship. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about your sneaky links or your F-buddies or your work husbands or any of that stuff. That's not what we're talking about here. Okay? If y'all had an agreement on that, then I'm not in your business. That's your stuff. That ain't my stuff. That's your stuff. So I want to dive in a little bit to the excuses of I stayed because the sex was so good. Now, we are, I understand we're physical beings and soul ties are a real thing. I don't know anyone who has had any type of sexual interaction who was not blinded by it for a second and was like, oh Lord, I'm gonna have to hang out here for a little bit because he satisfies me physically. But I mean, if we can be honest for a moment, just give me a moment of honesty. Are we really going to sit in a depression and a state of loneliness and mental or physical abuse for 3.5 minutes of pleasure? And half the time it don't even be that good. Okay, come on guys, come on you guys. Sometimes we're hanging around and it's really not even that good. Okay? That's where the soul tie comes in. It's like, dang, it's really not that good, but like, once you have sex with someone or you have physical connection with them, your souls are tied. Like, you're in there. And they have a piece of you and you have a piece of them. But let's be honest here. Alright, sometimes it really don't even be that far for us to be staying in these type of relationships for some mediocre peen. Come on, ladies, can we just be honest? Guys, come on. We grown. Stop it right now. Right now. Thank you. I'm just saying, like, if you end up accidentally having kids with him, you're stuck forever. And a lot of the times, like I said, I don't have kids, but a lot of times when you have kids with someone, when you have kids with someone before you're married, a lot of y'all don't even end up getting married. Having kids with someone is not gonna get y'all to where you wanna be. I wanna really tiptoe on that subject because of the fact that I don't have kids. I don't know what it's like to be a single mom. I was not raised by a single mom. I don't know what it's like to rip your kids away from their father, especially if they love being in his presence. But I saw a lot of people say, I'm staying because we have kids together. Now, like I said, I want to tread lightly on this because I can't understand. I'll never be able to understand that right now. Who knows? It might happen to me later on, God forbid. But I want you to know that your kids are not stupid. Kids can feel when their parents are unhappy. Kids know when their parents are arguing. They feel it. I have a friend, their parents got divorced and they said that's the best thing that their parents could have ever done. And then they were at a young age, like 6th grade, younger age. They were like, thank God they got divorced because there was nothing but turmoil in the house all the time. You're blocking your blessing. And I know it's great, like, you know, the kids have their dad, but like, what good is their dad in the house or having their mom in the house if the parents are unhappy? I don't know. Trust me when I say your kids want to see you happy and healthy. Also, you want to set a good example of a healthy relationship for your kids. Go and find yourself, find your inner peace and be happy. Your kids want to see you happy. They do. I know like I said, I want to tread lightly because I know it's not easy to just be like, all right, kids, pack up, we out of here. I know that's not easy, but I just want this to be in your mind that your kids do want to see you happy. You want to set that example of a happy relationship because your kids will accept what they see growing up. It's like, well, you know, my mom, she got pushed around and blah, blah, blah. She wasn't happy, but she stayed, so that's what I'm used to. So that's what I accept. Is that what you want for your daughter? Is that what you want for your son? No. So I'm not saying you should or shouldn't, but I just want you to keep that in mind. Set that example. And you could be blocking an amazing stepfather for your kids, okay? Like, this is not the end all be all. I know a lot of you guys think what man is gonna want me? I have 3 kids. There is a man out there who's gonna love you to death and love your 3 kids as his own. And who knows, you might find a man who has his own 3 kids and now y'all have 6 kids and you're in one big happy family, but you're never gonna find that if you continue to stay in a relationship with a man who you don't love anymore, who you're not happy, and blah, blah, blah. Now I will say, this doesn't necessarily apply to people who are married because that's a different subject and that's for, yeah, that's different. If you're just shacking up with your baby daddy, your children's husband, what? Your children's father, he hasn't even made a commitment to y'all, you're not married. Even if you're just engaged, you don't have to stay. If you're just engaged, like, or engaged, we have kids, I have to try to make it work. Try to make it work for reasons because you feel like this can work. No relationship is perfect. Every relationship needs work, but not if it's like, oh, I see the potential and I know that one day he's gonna love me. Like, that's not trying to make it work. That's you staying with a man who doesn't love you. Trying to make it work is like, oh, I can't stand his mom and he's a big mama's boy, but like, we can figure this out. Or like, oh no, his job got moved to Connecticut and all of us were in Florida. He has to leave tomorrow, but we're gonna make it work and we're gonna figure it out. I'll move up there, whatever, you know, things like that. Trying to make it work does not mean he's hitting me, but I love him, I wanted to make it work. Or he's cheating on me, but I know if I just cook and clean and pretty up myself, we can make it work. That is not making it work. That is, you need to leave, okay? So evaluate what exactly you're trying to make work and why you're trying to make it work. That's all I'm gonna say on the whole kids thing because I can't touch on it too much because I'm not there. But I don't feel like you have to have kids in order to know that you shouldn't stay with someone just because you guys have kids. Because there are plenty of women in the who can even probably tell you in the comments, yeah, we had kids together, but I left, remarried, have a beautiful life, and it's just way better. Just remember, your kids want to see you happy, and they can tell when you're not. And it does affect your children. It does affect your kids. This is going to be a quick mention, but I also seen a few women saying they stayed because they felt bad. Felt bad for who's this? Like, don't ever let a man say, first of all, like, oh, I'm going to kill myself if you leave. That's manipulation. Do what you have to do for yourself. If you need to call his mom, call his family, call his best friend, be like, look, he's saying suicidal things, or call the police or something, but do not carry that weight on your shoulders. Because honestly, if you're not married, these are the people who are not married, okay? I'm not talking to anybody who's married. If you're married, Don't listen to me. Unless he's beating you or cheating on you or something, whatever. But anyways, this is not for any married folk. But yeah, I'm assuming it's like, oh, I didn't want to hurt his feelings. Like, he loved me so much, but I didn't feel the same. First of all, you're only hurting him more because think about it on the other side. A lot of us women have been in love with a man who we know did not love us the same way we love them, and we felt it and it hurt. It hurt. He knows that you don't love him back, okay? He knows that you don't love him the same way. You're only blocking him from being with someone who is going to love him the same way, or no, better than you could ever love him. So you're actually hurting him more by staying. Yes, it's gonna hurt a little bit in the beginning. All breakups do, but he'll be fine. Don't kill your peace or fall into a depression just because, oh, I don't want to hurt him, because they're not going to do the same for us, first of all. Well, that's really not the first reason you shouldn't do it, but that is, they're not going to do that for you. These men don't care. They don't care, okay? So don't let any man guilt trip you into feeling like you need to stay. And even if he's not guilt tripping you, but he is just a great guy, like, oh, I know he's going to be a great dad and he's a great provider, but, you know, I don't really love him. Get out. You're not, money will never make you happy. It's not. You're gonna be unhappy and you're probably gonna end up cheating on him, and then, God forbid, when you cheat, you end up pregnant by someone else, and now you don't know who the baby daddy is because you're still having sex with both of them, and that, you know, like, it's messy. That's not and will never be a good reason to stay because you feel bad for him. You're, again, I will say, you're only hurting him. You're hurting yourself too, but you're hurting him more because you don't even really want to be with him. And there's someone else out there who does. All right, now we're gonna touch on the, oh, I'm staying because we've already been together for 5 years and I'm afraid of starting over with someone else. That is a lot of the ones that I've seen. Like, we've been together for so long, I'm afraid of starting over with someone else and I'm afraid of being lonely. We're gonna touch on those right now. First of all, if you're in your 20s, first of all, and you're like, oh, we've been together since I was 20, I'm 26 now and I don't wanna start over. You're still so young, are you kidding? Those 6 years were just a test, and you probably learned so much out of that that's gonna help you progress into your next relationship. Love does not have a time limit. Love is not gonna say, oh, she was with someone for 8 years, so, you know, her love time is up. I'm not gonna give her any more chances. Like, no. You're only wasting more time by staying with that person who you've invested 5-6 years in. So what, you're gonna stay another 5 years and now you're 10 years in when you could have left 5 years ago and moved on and been happy and healthy. Either happy and healthy single and working on yourself and blah blah blah, or happy and healthy in a new relationship. Don't let time hold you back. Don't let the time excuse hold you back. It's an excuse. I know you're comfortable. You guys have worked out a rhythm, blah, blah, blah. You're probably living together and I seen like, oh, he pays the bills and blah, blah, blah. Girl, first of all, anyone who said I'm staying with this man because he's taking care of the bills, we are women. We are bosses. We don't need a man to take care of us. If you have to go back home, do it. If you gotta stay with a friend, do that. Do not stay with a man because he's paying for stuff, because first of all, that gives them so much power. They feel like they have so much power that they can do whatever they want because, like, oh, she can't leave me. She don't have nowhere to go. How's she gonna eat? Where's she gonna sleep? So I can do whatever I want to this girl and she's not gonna leave because she needs me. Don't ever let a man feel too much that you need him and you can't live without him, okay? That is not what we're doing on God's green earth. I did not die on the cross for us to be just legs open, cooking and cleaning, and having this man cheat on us, not respect us, not love us, not be patient or kind, or, you know, any of those good things that love is. That's not a good reason. But anyways, back to the whole we invested time. Okay, that's fine. Start over. It's okay to start over. Do you know how many times we've all had to start over? Like, if at first you don't succeed, brush yourself off and try again. There are billions, how much people in this world? There are over 7 billion people in this world. And you guys are stuck unhappy with one of them. And you guys are saying, I'm afraid I'm never gonna find anyone else. 7 billion people. And you're with one raggedy, schmaggedy man and you're afraid that you're never gonna find somebody else? Sis, look at you. You're gorgeous. He's raggedy. Honestly, men are so raggedy, okay? Please. There are plenty of other good men in the world, but you're sitting up on the couch with raggedy Marcus. Raggedy Marcus, really? I just really want to encourage anyone who is staying because the time that you put in, just remember, you have so many more days ahead of you. You could find your new man tomorrow. Don't wait until you find a new man to leave the one that you're with now. That's not fair to yourself because you have so much growing and healing to do. You're probably never going to find that new man if you're stuck in this battered relationship. You're depressed. You don't think highly of yourself. You can't leave the house. You feel like you're ugly. Like all those things. No new man's gonna even want that. A lot of us and you guys, and myself included, really need to go to therapy and get back to the bad, you know what, that you really are. And I know a lot of those men made a lot of us feel, I'm trying to say us and not be like you women, like us feel like we're not worthy, we're not good enough, we're never gonna find anyone better. And that's not true. Like I said, 7 billion. 7 billion. There's always somebody better, okay? There's somebody better than me. My boyfriend could leave right now and find somebody better than me. I mean, very small chance. But he could, because there's always somebody better, okay? There's always somebody better. Small chance, but there's always somebody better. So I really want to encourage you, if you're someone who says like, oh my gosh, we've been together for 7 years already, I don't want to start over. Starting over could be the most beautiful thing that has ever happened to you. And you can look back and be like, I'm so glad I finally left. I'm so glad I finally left. Take a chance on yourself. Take a chance on yourself. You can do so much better. And you know it. You know it. Don't let anyone tell you, girl, you're never going to find anyone better than that. Look, he's a doctor. He's a doctor. You're not going to find any. He's a lawyer, girl. Come on. I'm going to bring up Tyler Perry. Y'all saw the Tyler Perry, what is it, family reunion with that guy? Was he like a lawyer or something? And he's making all this money. Her mom really wanted her to be with him, but he was beating her. She didn't love him.
You're the one in love. I don't love him the way he loves me. Then why are you marrying him? Mom says love will come.
She was gorgeous too. And then she left and she was free. Free as a bird. Just be free. Free yourself from that thought of time. Just know that once that time gets doubled and you went from 7 years to 14 years, you're just gonna think, oh, I should have left 7 years ago. Still, even if that time doubles and you end up being there for 14 years, you can still leave. Your life is not over. If you're still breathing air into your lungs, then you can still leave. I don't care if you've been with this person for 30 years. You can still leave. It's not too late to start over. Please know that. All right, now let's talk about staying because of the potential. Now I saw a lot of girls saying like, I saw the potential in him. And potential can go a few different ways. Don't make excuses for potential. Like there's potential as in like, oh, he's in school to become a doctor one day. He doesn't have money right now, but he's going to school, he's working, he's studying. And I know that after he graduates, we'll be set. That is healthy potential. Now the potential that you guys are saying is, I know that he can love me the way I love him one day. I just know that he has a potential to be such a great guy. Like he has some good qualities and I feel like he's still learning and growing in life, that he's gonna be better one day. Like I do think he's gonna quit drinking and quit smoking, and you know, I'm gonna take him to church and I'm gonna get him saved and he's gonna be a better guy and blah, blah, blah. And while that could be true, my pastor told me something one time that stuck with me is, do not marry potential. If you were to marry the guy you're with right now and he never changes, he stays the exact way that he is right now, will you be happy? Because potential is a what if. It's a possibility. He could never change. But there are some things that like we're calling potential that you just need to throw away. The whole like, I'm just hoping that he is gonna love me the way I love him, or I'm hoping that he's gonna love me the way he used to in the beginning. That's not potential. That you need to leave. Don't stay with someone because like, oh, we used to get along so great, and yeah, it's been rough the past 2 years, but I know the first 6 months that he could love me like that again if I just lose that weight. Woo! Tyler Perry movie coming around again. Why did I get married? The first movie, when the girl Sheila, she's like, I know it's my fault if I just lose this weight and I know that he'll love me again. Like, no, that's not potential. That's emotional abuse, okay? And I know abuse is a rough word, it's probably triggering, but it is emotional abuse. If he at all first of all, is not treating you the way he used to in the beginning, and now you're unhappy, why are you staying? You're staying for what used to be. It's not there anymore, and it very well may never return. So just leave. Just leave. You're not gonna get it back. In your head, you're not gonna get it back. And most of the time, if you continue to stay with a man who's not treating you well, why would he ever change? Why would he ever change? You're giving him everything he wants. You're having sex with him. You're giving him your car. You're paying for stuff. You're loving on him while he's doing the bare minimum because you're hoping all these things you're doing right now will get him to be better. But there's no motivation to be better because you're doing everything right now while he's being trash. So he's thinking, so I can continue to be trash and she'll still treat me like a king? Well, this is great. No, that's not what we're doing. Sometimes you really just have to leave. And I'm not saying leave so that he'll notice and you guys will get back together. Just leave. Maybe you guys will get back together and he'll clean up his act. Maybe you won't and you'll find somebody else. But you just leave with no expectations of getting back together. But just leave with the expectation of building yourself back up and finding your true worth and knowing your true self and remembering who you are and whose you are. Come on, somebody. And that there's somebody so much better out there for you. 7 billion 7 billion. And also, the man, what is he, 27, 28? He's not changing. He is who he is. If he was like 16, okay, 20, all right. He has some maturing to do. That man, he's a grown man. He's not making decisions because he doesn't know any better. He's making those decisions because that's who he is. Again, I'm not saying that he can't change. God can change anybody. But don't hold on to potential because like, oh, I know that's not who he really is. He just needs to learn. No, that is who he is right now. So if who you're with right now never changes, is that what you want for the rest of your life? Just look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself that question. The last thing I kind of want to touch on is the whole like, oh, I'm comfortable here and I don't want to be alone. Like, why? I'd rather be unhappy with someone holding me than happy and alone. Or some people would say and unhappy and alone. So I'll be honest, being alone after coming out of a relationship, it does suck. It does suck because you miss being held, you miss that comfortability, you miss going on dates. If your relationship was even that good, some of y'all are in relationships that really suck and you're staying anyways, y'all not going on dates, y'all not being held, none of that stuff. You're just getting some sex every now and then when he feels horny. But anyways, you miss all the stuff of being in a relationship, you know. Breakups suck, they do. It just sucks. I can speak for myself. When my boyfriend and I broke up a few months ago, we broke up for about 2.5 months. And, you know, I saw the signs that they were there that we should probably break up. And I knew we had a good relationship and he was a good guy, but there were some things that I was like, something's not right, something's a little off, something is missing, XYZ. You know, I was like, I don't think we should be together because I know that you're not giving me everything. You're not giving me all of you. You're holding back and you need to figure out why. And if we get back together, great. And if we don't, then I will find someone who has it, who will give me their all and not hold back and yada, yada, yada. And honestly, the relationship that I was in, majority of women would have stayed because it was not bad at all. It was good. It was good. It was very good, but it wasn't great. People would ask, oh, Jess, how are you? And so. I'm like, oh, we're good. We're good. Because we were good, but we weren't great. I knew that there was more. Like, there was more. After I felt that way around like 7 months, after we got to like 1 year and 2 months, like 5 months later or whatever, and all that potential that I was waiting for was like still the same. After we had a few discussions about it, I was like, look, I'm out of here. Long story short, whatever. I made the decision to leave because I was like, even though this is good, I know that I'm settling for just good. And a lot of women will go ahead and settle for just good. And I did that at age 29. I had to break up with someone who I thought I was gonna marry. And it was good at 29 years of age because I knew I deserved more than good, okay? And I know that that would be really hard for a lot of people. It was hard for me too, because I was like, what the heck am I gonna do now? I'm 29. I don't leave my house. How am I gonna meet anybody else? What am I gonna do? But I was not going to settle for good. I just wasn't. Ooh, child. I was not gonna settle for good. I was like, I deserve great. I do. And at age 29, I was like, I have to make this decision I'm leaving. Okay, and that was the hardest thing I had to do. I was not used to being alone. I live in this apartment by myself. I was alone. I was crying for weeks. I was distraught. I was like, what am I gonna do? I'm alone. It was the hardest thing for me. That decision was the hardest thing. And it wasn't like the breakup and double back and we still hanging out, sneaky linking, blah, blah, doing all this stuff. Like, no, I'm talking about cut and dry breakup. Didn't speak for weeks, okay? Even though it was hard, and I cried every day, every morning, every night for like the first 3 weeks. There were literally times where I was like on the ground, like literally on the ground crying, like, God, why? Why is this so hard? Like, take this pain away. There was one time where I woke up and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm still alive. I have to go through this pain again, another 24 hours. Like, I just woke up and I was like, really, God? You can just end it last night. Like, I wasn't trying to kill myself, but I was like, God, if you want to go ahead and just call me home, I'm okay with it. It's probably better. I was not doing well. I was depressed. And even though it was really hard, eventually it does get better. It gets better, okay? Because after like 3 or 4 weeks of the trenches and the struggle, I was like, okay, life actually is moving on. Life is moving on. I still have friends. I still have family. I still have to work and get these coins. Like, there was a time that I woke up at like 5:30 a.m. or 6. I just drove to the beach and I watched the sunrise and I brought my journal and I had my AirPods in and I was just writing words of affirmation and telling me stuff about myself, like, you're beautiful, you deserve the best, you made the right decision, God's gonna take care of you, God has the best plans for you, plans to prosper you, plans not to harm you, you're gonna have a great future, you will be successful. All these things I had to tell myself and build myself back up. We are more than just helpmeets. We're not even just here to be a wife or be a girlfriend. There's so much more to this beautiful life that we are blessed to live every day than just having a boyfriend. Just because you don't have what you want right now, like in that breakup season where it just seems like the world is over, it doesn't mean you're never gonna have it. There is life and breath and better days at the end of the tunnel. But you do have to prepare yourself that, yes, that breakup is gonna be hard and it's gonna suck for a few weeks. And you have to do it the right way. Do not double back and like, oh, closure, or, hey, can we talk? Like, no, no, no. You break up, you move on. Not break up and like 3 days later, like, hey, are you up? Or, hey, what are you doing? Or, hey, can we talk? Like, what are we talking about? Y'all had 3 years to talk. No. Block things. You gotta block things sometimes. Now, luckily for me, we did get back together like 3 months later, and it was everything I always wanted that I knew I could be getting before. That's not gonna be everybody's testimony, but for those of you who don't get back with the guy you just thought you were so in love with, you're gonna find somebody better. And then you're gonna be like, I can't believe I stayed in that relationship. I can't believe I thought that was love. I can't believe I thought that was the best I was ever gonna get. I'm with the same guy right now, but we have a different relationship, which makes me even look back at my old relationship and be like, my old relationship with the same guy, and be like, I knew, like, this is what I wanted. And this is, if I never left, I don't know how long it would have taken to get here or if we ever would have gotten here, okay? Sometimes you need to separate and you two need to do what y'all need to do. If God calls you back together, then great. And if not, then he's calling you to better, okay? Just know that there is better. Like, I can't stress that enough. There is better out there. But you have to follow your gut, follow your instinct, follow that calling that's telling you, get out of there. You have to leave. You have to leave. Because again, a man that you're waiting to change, he's never going to change if you're still there and doing all the things that you would do if he was the man of your dreams. Like, why would we change? That, I feel like that's the biggest thing here. Everyone who's staying for potential and staying hoping things change, but you're doing everything you want or everything in your power for a guy who's doing nothing, why would he change? Why would he change? If you're at work and you do the bare minimum and you keep getting a raise, why would you work harder? You know you're gonna get a raise every day. Like, oh, it was great. Why would you work any harder? Why would you change? Why? So I wrote down a few things that you should kind of look out for in your relationship. I said, stop settling for a man. I said some of these things earlier, but stop settling for a man who does not call you. And this, some of these are coming from my suggestions videos. A lot of you guys would send in things like this, like, oh, he hasn't called me in like 3 days. I'm like, what? Child, okay. Stop settling for a man who doesn't call you. who makes you feel bad about yourself, who tells you you won't find anyone better, who only calls you when he wants to have sex. He never tells you anything nice. He yells at you, continuously chooses his friends over you. He will not commit to you. Stop waiting around for a commitment that is not happening. He compares you negatively to other women. He doesn't bring you around his friends or family. He makes you feel bad for your accomplishments. He's inconsistent. He isn't a man of his word. He doesn't trust you, and you don't trust him. Like, if you feel like you have to go through his phone all the time, or you have to follow him around, please get out of that relationship. He tries to control you. He tries to control what you wear, or who you hang out with, or where you're going. Get out. And there's way more things, but these are just some things you could be like, oh, dang, he does do that. Like, think about it. There's so much more things also. You have to stop making excuses for these men. Take it for what it is. Stop ignoring yourself. You know if something is wrong, and you know that you deserve better. Just believe yourself. And I want you to ask yourself this question right now. The relationship that you're in right now, if somebody else came along today, okay, he was good looking and he was interested in you, he said, I accept your kids, blah, blah, whatever, would you leave the person you're with now? No question. Yes or no? If you're just waiting for somebody else to come around, then you need to leave that relationship. If that's all you're waiting for to leave, just because you don't want to be alone, you need to leave. Now, don't wait for somebody else to come around, because chances are you're gonna ruin that relationship because you're carrying all the baggage from your stress relationship and bring it into this new healthy relationship with this healthy guy, but you're gonna ruin it because you haven't healed yourself yet. So if that's all you're waiting for to leave, is somebody else who would treat you better, but I'm gonna stay here until I have like that new security, then leave. This is not a job. I understand, like, at a job, you have to stay at this job until you find another one because you don't want to be broke. That's different. That's survival. If you need to write out the pros and cons list, be honest. Write out a list and be honest. Don't lie to yourself, because lying to yourself gets you nowhere. Write yourself a list, and if that cons list way outweighs the pros, if it even a little bit outweighs the pros, I don't think that's something you need to be in right now. I really don't. So I say all that to say is, like, I'm really not trying to comfort anyone. Like, this is supposed to be just empowering. Please do not project on me. Do not take out your insecurities in your relationship on me because I triggered something and you're like, well, you don't know him. I don't want to hear all that. I don't want to hear any of that, because if you even have to come at somebody like that and defend your, like, something might be wrong. But anyways, I'm not saying that your relationship has to be perfect or that your man has to be perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. But I am saying, what am I saying? But I do want to point out that there is a difference between, you know, a great relationship that has some flaws than a flawed relationship that has some good times. The good should way outweigh the bad. The bad should not be outweighing the good. I don't want you going to sleep at night and holding on to those few good times you had this week when the other 5 days that week were bad. We're like, oh, but he bought me flowers, but he was horrible for the rest of the week. Don't hold on to, like, oh, I know he can be better. I know he can be better. Let me just give him more time, more time, more time. There's 7 billion people in this world, okay? Over 7 billion. Don't get stuck with the one that does not love you. That's all I'm gonna say. So, I said a lot. I really hope that this video helped somebody, anybody. I really want you guys in the comments to, you know, be a good community, be of good support, lift each other up. If you need to vent below, go ahead and vent. I can guarantee you that you're not the only one going through this. Like I said, I've been there. I know there are other women who have been there. There are other women who are there right now. And I feel like we all need to lift each other up, be a good community, drop some advice down below. If there's anything I said that you have questions on or you're confused on, drop it down below. I'm gonna try to, you know, get in that community with you guys. Again, I want to say I'm not perfect. My relationship is not perfect, but it is great, okay? It's great. If you can truly say that, be honest. Can you say that you have a great relationship? Remember, I left because it was just good. And some people might say, well, I'm ungrateful or I'm picky, but I knew that I could have better. I'm like, this is a good relationship. It's good. But if you have to say it with that tone, like, yes, it's good. The tone of your voice. The tone of your voice counts. The tone of your voice will tell on you, okay? Because people would be like, oh, how are you guys? We're good. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good. You're lying. Yeah, something's off. But anyways, I'm not going to preach to you guys anymore. Just know that I love you guys so much. I want you to love yourselves, love your children. Just, I want the best for all of you guys. Again, don't forget to check all the links to, you know, all this good hair details will be in the description box. Should I top it off with this band? Yes, that's cute. I got sidetracked and I never put my... Oh, my nail just popped off. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, so if you're interested in this hair, all the links will be in the description box. Thank you again to OMGHerHair for sending me this beautiful headband wig and all the headbands and all the works and everything. All the links are in the description box, and I will see you guys in my next video.